All right, Rick, we're aboard the Dusky 227. Our overall length is 22 feet 7 inches, but part of that's bracket. You still have a lot of room inside the boat because the bracket allows you to put the motor further off and it's not hanging on the transom, so it's not taking up any room back there.
You know, it's funny you mentioned the bracket, Dave. The first bracket boat I ever saw, in fact, I'm pretty sure the first bracket boat in Florida was by Ralph Brown of Dusky. He invented moving the motor back to increase the performance of the boat. Not to mention a great platform if you swim, dive, lobster, whatever you do overboard.
Well, really, the bracket too gives you some more displacement. That helps to actually carry the extra weight of the engine back there. All right, well, they've been building this boat for a long time, but they've made refinements over the years to what it is right now. This type of construction with the ring deck gives you a lot more room inside.
Oh, it sure does, Dave, because people love the way an interliner boat looks, but they so often forget it takes up room. You know where it becomes important? Passing by your console. You got two people going by the same time, you're very thankful that you don't have an interliner because it gives you more room to work with.
Well, not only that, we've got good rod storage here that's under the gunnel, it's out of the way, and your rod holders don't drain into the hull. They drain onto the deck and the water just goes out the scupper.
That's right, and you notice all the boats anymore are self-bailing. In fact, you and I were talking at lunch today about boats sinking at the dock from water getting in them, the bilge pumps not working. It's not a factor anymore, it doesn't happen. Water gets in this boat, shoots out the scuppers.
Well, in fact, this boat doesn't have a bilge. There's not a plug in the hull of this boat. Dusky doesn't put plugs in their boats.
No, you're exactly right, Dave. That's a huge safety factor too, by the way. Let's look at some of the inside features in this boat.
All right, well, starting back here at the transom where we are now, I love the fact that they've got this flip-up stern seat. You see
Best
this
seating on the boat.
It is, and you see it on a lot of boats. We've seen it on a lot of the boats that we've tested already this year, but you know what? It's practical. It's there when you want it, but when you don't, it's out of the way. It's flanked on either side by storage boxes. On this side, you've got a place to put tackle box or anything you want. On this side, they've got their fuel water separator, so it's so easy to get to. You open it up, and it's right there.
Gosh, how many boats are, especially today with ethanol being such a factor in our gas and stuff, how many boats get in trouble over having water in their fuel? It is so much easier to check that. With it being right there and accessible, you can look at it every trip. It never backs up on you without you realizing it.
We move up here toward the helm. I like the seat. I mean, we see a leaner type seat on a lot of these boats, but this is more than just a leaner. It's a comfortable seat.
Let me tell you what else it is that most boats don't have. Under your leaner is your cooler that you can actually open.
You know what, too, where you were stepping this hatch? We talk about cast net storage all the time. Well, guess what? In this boat, we actually do have a cast net stored on it, and it's out of sight, but when you need it, you can get to it really, really easy.
This whole genre of boats, and this Dusky in particular, does one thing great. It offshore fishes. And you can keep up with, on a pretty day, let me tell you what, you can put as many fish on this boat as anybody's boat.
And now work your way up to the bow and see how much room we have up here. I love this factor. This boat has a little bit of a Carolina flare to the hull. That gives you a huge bow to work with.
All right, now explain the advantage of a Carolina flare. Everybody hears, oh, my boat's got a Carolina flare, all that. What's the big deal about a Carolina flare?
Well, all you have to do is look at the hull and you can see. The hull itself flares out, and it does two things. One, it gives you a lot of room up here in the bow, but underneath, when the water hits, it's got to push and go out, which is going to give more displacement and more lift to the boat. So if you're in a following sea, having that flare is really going to do well.
And I'm real thankful that this cushion is removable here, because for me, at my age, it's hard to stand up there and be stable. I'd rather have solid footing. If you've got two daughters in college that are coming home for the weekend, they want to sunbathe up here. So literally with this boat, you can have it either way you want to. Take the cushion off or leave it on.
Well, there again, that's the beauty of dealing factory direct. You can tell them exactly what you want on the boat, and that's how you get it, because your way of fishing, my way of fishing are going to be different. We're going to use the boat different. We may actually even do the same thing, but on different days. So maybe one day you want the cushion, maybe one day the cushion stays home in the garage.
Yeah, if you're apt to get into a tournament that's going to be fished in heavy weather, this may very well be the best boat for you, because we've got a big, high bow that's going to take big seas better than a low center boat.
All right, Rick, let's do a quick recap of the Dusky 227. Like we had said earlier, this is a lot bigger boat than a little 19 or 20 foot center console that you may have started out with in the bay. This is a boat that you really can bust that inlet with.
You can, Dave. We can call it a pocket rocket because it can fish offshore with the big boats. It's still very manageable for two people, and it's still very trailerable and very affordable.
Right, single outboard, single 175, plenty of power. I'm not even sure you need that much power on this boat, but you can load it down with people, load it down with gear, and you're still going to have good performance.
And it's what we call a fire hose boat, Dave. You bring it in, one of the things I love about it, You can wash this boat, park it, you're done. It's in great shape. It's simple, it's functional. I love the Dusky 227.